Thank you, Mr. Manay, for your key insights and setting the right agenda for the conference. For any questions, you can write them, and your questions will be discussed at the end of the conference. May I invite our next speaker of the day, Dr. Amany Eltanany. Dr. Amany is the Quality and CGMP Compliance Manager at HBG Rotabiden Pharmaceuticals. With 21 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry, Dr. Amany is also a member in the committees of the Ministry of Military Production and the Ministry of Health as a third-party audit team on pharmaceutical drug and raw material manufacturer inside and outside Egypt. She is a professional consultant member in the Improvement Committee of the Ministry of Health, Academy of Scientific.
How are you, ladies and gentlemen? It's my honor to be a part of this event. Today we will talk about digital transformation and the relation between digital transformation and the data integrity and regulations, GMP compliance regulations. Okay, what do you know about digital transformation and what's the relation between data integrity and digital transformation? First of all, digital transformation is a crucial tool used by FDA and regulatory authorities to adjust the quality system of the organization. Published a form 483 observations and warning letters which indicate the data integrity is the main issue the pharmaceutical industry currently dealing with. Okay, in the data integrity, the failure, what's the consequences of the failure? The consequences of failure that the unvalidated systems, the unvalidated results, and also the products recall. Okay, here in this diagram, you will show that the difference between the observations by FDA in 2008 and 17 and 2017. Okay, so when you notice that the difference and the gap between the observations in data integrity, okay, and we will discuss what's the reason for this. Okay, in 211/68, it's about the automatic and mechanical and electronic equipment. These deficiencies in data integrity in this field, it's about some things like a firm which fail to implement adequate control over a computer system to ensure that only authorized individuals have access to the system. So these firms and this organization don't have the system to assure that only authorized person have the accessibility to the system. Also, individuals or personnel's access is not consistent with their roles and responsibilities. Sometimes there's a conflict and non-compliance between the rules of the individuals and the activities that they must do and what happened on the computer system. Okay? For example, warning letters identified instances where laboratory on audit trail to hide some data. Electronic data are not subject to backup and retention, so the activities can be reconstructed. Okay, so the activities can be reconstructed again, so they can make falsification of data and manipulation of data. They can change the date and time, and so it's a big deficiency. Also, laboratory analysts data in audit trails so don't match with the data in a printed chromatograph. For example, and some audits, when we make audit or conduct audit in organizations, we found the printout of chromatogram, the printout of weighing, for example, we found the differentiation between the data recorded in the computer system and audit trail and the data printed out. Okay, other observations about the session. Organizations release the patch without revision of all data related to the patch record. For example, electronic data, including critical metadata, and next we will explain what's the difference between data and metadata. For example, firms may review a printed chromatogram without considering the need to review the raw electronic data and critical data related with this issue. Okay, sometimes they hid the out of specifications and the deep investigation about out of specification and only take the net data of chromatogram. Some firms also falsify the analytical test results and destroy the data, as we mentioned, and or the firms doesn't have the data to support analytical results. Sometimes the data not traceable. We have results without traceability when we made a the underlying causes of data integrity problems. It's a comprehensive approach. We will do a comprehensive approach is necessary. The majority of data integrity issues are caused by poor quality culture, by organizational or individual behavior. Sometimes it's the organization at all behavior, and sometimes it's individually. And according to the leadership processes or technology deficiency. Data integrity should be effectively integrated to the quality management system. Quality management system must be embedded inside it, the data integrity. And we will discuss later what's the topics and what's the topics of data integrity. Also, employees should be trained on 21 CFR Part 11. Is it important to transfer your hard data to electronic data or to electronic system? Sometimes it depends, okay, but sometimes the system, when you make a system integration, when you make a data verification, and when you make a control on your output and your input, so you will produce the integrated system controlled and qualified enough to produce your products. Okay, for example, many electronic system platforms provide enhanced security features and audit trail capabilities. And finally, management support for data governance is essential for successful implementation of data integrity, and we will discuss what's the meaning of data governance. Okay, what's the digital transformation and what's the meaning of data integrity, and also we will discuss examples in data integrity management. Transformation, okay, but was one of best of them that the process of utilizing modern technology to create a new or modified existing business processes, cultures, and customer experience. Another definition that digital transformation involves the use of technology to radically improve the performance and reach of business. Okay, the application of digital transformation to process, to products and assets, to improve efficiency and enhance customer value, manage risk, and uncover new monetization opportunities. What's the impact of digital transformation? Digital transformation leverages new technologies to support a customer-first focus and overall business growth. And you know that our customer in pharmaceutical industry is the patient, so we consider these develop a multiple income streams and increase sales and efficiency and equip them to compete. Okay. Digital transformation also is important role, has important role in a real-time manufacturing data. When you capture the data spontaneously, when it happened, so you can make analysis for this data and you can predict the future. So you have the competitive advantage in the market because you know the future of your data. As we said here, okay, as a competitive advantage, focus on customers and preferences, and also integration of products and services and data in the value of proposition. Okay, if CIO of manufacturing company dealing with revenue, unproductive people, obsolete equipment, legacy and legal issues, and outdated processes and documents. Okay, one of the famous applications of digital transformation is the transferring of your documentation system and data from paper and handwork to digital, to electronic system in pharmaceutical industries. Okay, what's the meaning of data integrity? First of all, we will discuss the data and metadata, then we will discuss about Alcoa Plus. What's the Alcoa Plus? What do you think about these photos, about these documents? What do you think about the data written on the hand and the data on the passport? What do you think about the What's the meaning of data integrity? As mentioned in WHO Technical Series Report 1033 Annex 4, senior management is responsible for the establishment, implementation, and control of the effectiveness of the effective data governance system. Data governance should be embedded in the quality system, and the necessary policies, procedures, and the training programs and monitoring and other systems should be implemented to guarantee the data governance and the data integrity. Okay, so what's the meaning of data? Data is the information you captured. Maybe data is the raw data or original data. It's the first data you captured, or the metadata, which means the data around your data captured. It may be a record, it may be a report, it may be printouts, okay? Videos, this is all types of data. Okay, so what's the metadata? When you look to this photo, you found the cat, and you found the GPS or the location of the cat. Cat represents the data, but what's around this data represents the metadata. So when you say the assay of paracetamol is 95%, okay, now I know that the assay of paracetamol 95%, but what's about the data? Who make this analysis? And it represents what? It represents what? It represents the bulk or the finished product or the raw material. So we have a questions to answer when you talk about the data and the metadata. Okay, so the metadata is the data collected about the data to clarify data about the data. Like this example. Okay, like this example. When we say paracetamol 95%, that say what's the proper خلاص نقول example تاني. Okay, for example, when you say a trial subject A 1, 2, 3 example. ايه الميتا اه data, okay, it's maybe captured manually or electronically, okay? So the raw data is the original data. Okay, what's the dynamic data? Dynamic data is the data that has interaction between the personnel or the entrance of data and the file that you treat with, okay? So dynamic formats such as electronic records allow interaction and relationship between the user and the record content. For example, the electronic records in database format allow the user to track trend. Okay, for example, chromatography records maintained as electronic records, okay, with appropriate access permission to process the data and expand the baseline to view the integration. So this is the metadata, this is the dynamic data, the interaction between you and between data. But when static data is a record format such as a paper or electronic record that cannot be edited or manipulated. Okay, it's fixed and allows little or no interaction between the user and the record content. For example, once printed or converted to static electronic format, chromatography records lost the capability of being reprocessed or enabling more detailed viewing of baseline. Okay, what's the audit trail? What's the audit trail? Audit trail is a form of metadata containing information associated with the action that relates to the creation and modification or deletion of GXP records. An audit trail provides for a secure recording of life cycle details such as creation, obscuring or overwriting the original record. Okay, an audit trail facilitates the reconstruction of history of such events relating to the record regardless of its medium, including who, what, when, and why of the actions. Okay, what's the data life cycle? Data life cycle includes all phases of data starting from creating the document, creating the data, until reach to archiving and disposing of this data, passing through approving the data, distribution the data, controlling the data, processing data, reviewing and monitoring, analysis and retirement of data and disposal of data. Okay, do you know about a big bank of data? Okay. What's the data integrity? Data integrity means that you assure about your data that it's accurate, it's secured, it's not able to manipulation or falsification. So as your data is secured as possible, means that your data is integrity. And we will apply a principle we will discuss later, ALCOA Plus, to assure that your data integrity. Okay, how to guarantee security and integrity of your data? You should implement a data governance system, which is the sum of total arrangements which provide assurance of data quality. These arrangements ensure that data, irrespective to the process, format, or technology in which it's generated, recorded, processed, retained, retrieved, complete, consistent, enduring, and available at all times of the data life cycle. This is the ALCOA Plus. Okay. WHO in Technical Report Series 1033 in Annex 4 said, data integrity data governance should ensure that the application of ALCOA Plus principles. As we mentioned before, you must ensure that your data attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate, complete, consistent, enduring, and available. And this is ALCOA Plus. Okay, what's the meaning of attributable? Attributable, you must know the originator of the data. The data should be attributable for speed, full handwritten signature or controlled person. But in electronic record, this could be done through the use of unique user logon that link the user to the action that created. As we mentioned before, in FDA observations, that they found that there is no control on the accessibility of the persons to do the activities on the computer system. Okay. An audit trail should capture the user identification, date, and time stamps, and the electronic signature should be securely and permanently linked to the signed record. Legible. What's the meaning of legible? Legible means the data readable. You can read the data. Data and media that created in. In addition, there may be restrictions around the version of a software application that can read the data. When sorting data electronically, ensure that any restrictions which may apply and ability to read the electronic data and understood. Clarification from software vendors should be sought before performing any upgrade, or when switching to an alternative application to ensure that the data previously created will be readable also. Contemporaneous. Contemporaneous means that the data should be recorded instantly when it happened. Personnel should record data and information at the time these are generated and acquired. For example, when a sample is weighed or prepared, the weight of the sample should be recorded at the time and not before or at later stage. In case of electronic data, they should be automatically date and time stamps. And as we mentioned before, the audit trail guarantee this is no any manipulation of the data happened on entrance of data. The first or source, what's the meaning of original? Original data. Original data is the first or the source of capture of data or information, and all subsequent data required to fully reconstruct the conduct of the GXP activity should be available. In some cases, the electronic data, electronic chromatogram acquired through a high performance data should be accurate. The entry of critical data into a computer by authorized person, entry of, for example, entry of a master processing formula requires an additional check. Additional check guarantees the accuracy of data. Additional check on the accuracy of the data entered manually. This check may be done by independent verification and release for use by second authorized person or by validated electronic means. Okay, what's the plus of the ALCOA? The data should be complete, consistent, enduring, and available. What's the meaning of the data should be complete? You must write all about the data and metadata as mentioned before, and also you write ممكن نزوم. هي بس مش واضحة، يعني في كلام فوق مش موجود. Okay, complete data means that you put all the data. You put the failed results, the accurate results, the actual results, and review all original electronic data should be include checks of all locations where data may have been stored, including locations where voided. Okay, if you decide to exclude the data, for example, for out of specifications and other issues, you must justify this issue. Consistent. Consistent means the data recording sequentially and in chronological manner. It's a chronological manner to guarantee that the consistency of data. For example, record execution date and time in an auditable document. Not record the data, some of data in a document, auditable document, and other data in non-official document, for example. Enduring. Data and metadata should be endured during the life printouts of welding machines. By time, the fading will happen and you lose your data. You should consider the risk include the fading of microfilm records, the decreasing readability of the coatings of optical media such as compact discs and digital video discs, and the fact that these media may become brittle. Similarly, historical data stored on a magnetic media will also become unreadable over the time, as a result of deterioration. So, your data and records should be stored in appropriate manner that guarantee the data enduring all the time. Finally, available. The data should be available throughout the data life cycle for reviewing and inspection, discuss about examples in a data integrity management. Formats. Design formats to enable person to record and enter the correct information contemporaneously. Provision should be made for entrance such as dates, times, start and finish time where appropriate, signatures, the initial results, batch numbers, and equipment identification numbers. When a computerized system used, the system should prompt the personnel to make the entries at the appropriate step. Okay, what happened if errors happened in recording the data? This should be taken when enters the data and results in electronic and paper records are made. Entries should be made in a compliance with the good documentation practice. Where incorrect information remains readable and the correction is signed and dated also. Other example, changes. What happens if you decide to change? The change should be traceable to the person who made the change, as well as the date, the time, and reason for the change. The original values should not be obscured. In the electronic system, this is traceability should be documented via computer-generated audit trails or in other metadata fields or system features that meet these requirements. Where an existing computerized system lacks computer-generated audit trail, personnel may use alternatives, means such as reducedly controlled use of logbooks, change control records, what, who, when, and why of an action. Okay, control. Appropriate and effective control should be identified and implemented in order to assure that all data, whether in a paper records or electronic records, will meet GXP requirements and Alcoa Plus principles. Example of control, the qualification and calibration and maintenance of equipment such as balances, pH meters that generate printouts. Data pickup and retention and restoration. Backup and restoration process should be validated also. The backup should be done routinely and periodically. Periodically be restored and verified for completeness and accuracy of data and metadata. Where any discrepancies are identified, they organizations use computerized systems, for example, for GXP data acquisition, processing, interpretation, reporting, which don't meet the current GXP requirements, and the action plan towards the upgrading, such as systems or categorized from deviation, for example, should be documented and implemented in order to ensure the compliance with current GXP. Finally, pharmaceutical industries ensures that the data entered for various steps of drug development is accurate so that we can have confidence that the drug produced by the industry are within some parameters. Thank you.